So I have my minion here cleaning up the floor.
Yes, master.
All right, day 2 of teardown of this lovely DECH number 5 car. Everything from interior was torn out yesterday, late last night. A lot of the engine bay components have started to come off. We have the whole front clip off. And from the other video, you could tell that the car is not in very good shape underneath, but it should be very much savable. So today we will be pulling out the driveline and getting it in a better position to get blasted and see exactly how bad all of this rust and corrosion is. From there, it'll probably take some time. I need to go back to the litter box, aka Middle East, and a friend of mine will be taking care of getting the blasting done and reporting back to see what the next steps with the car will be. So we will tear into this thing and go from there. In here, low on battery. Dash frame, heater box.
Wiring is coming.
Lewis is fighting with the cabling in the driver's side kick panel.
Oh, that's rotten.
This car had wired in mass air, so a couple extra harnesses and stuff to play with. Most of the connections for the engine are all done. Just have to drain the radiator. The power steering's disconnected. The master cylinder is off, which means we can pull the booster, and then we can yank the wiring out of the driver's side firewall, and soon we'll get the wiring out of the passenger side and pull that all through, wrap it around the engine. Then the engine can just be self-contained with all its wiring and everything. That'll be the last part to tackle in the restoration. As the engine actually runs fine, it'll just need a clean up, new gaskets, paint, etc. Time to put the car up in the air. Everything is pretty much disassembled from the top side. Everything from the firewall has been removed. So this thing is looking like a stripped car. Found some more rust down the bottom, down over here, the bottom of the firewall. It'll most likely be like that on the other side underneath where the steering column is. Once we get the car up, then we can drop the gas tank, get that connector off. Once we get the transmission connector disconnected, disconnect the emergency brakes, and then everything from the inside of the car will be out, and it can get blasted, welded, primed, painted, all that good stuff. Cancerous conditions, take 2. There we go. Front, bottom of the fender, rocker panel. Rear quarter. I left all that in there for the dramatic effect of rust falling. Lots of corrosion up in the back. Frame, surprisingly, on this side is pretty clean. So let's hope that this gets all blasted and reinforced, it'll be okay. This all needs to get cleaned up and go impact.
Where's that spray?
Better spray this side too, Ray.
It's welded on, rust weld.
That's terrible.
All right, so we are almost 24 hours in. Obviously, that isn't full time. Stripping this thing apart is probably in reality, let's see, 10 hours maybe of stripping. Some help, some just me. And the more that I take apart, the little bit more I'm getting a bit discouraged, but we'll see ultimately what happens once we get the rest of these few things out. You can see even the tub walls here are extremely rotted, and I have to make sure that I can source some of these. And up front here, I'm just about to take off the front brake calipers and see if I can get at these K-member nuts here, which are not looking very good at all. Everything underneath is actually loose, which is good. The rad is out, all of the engine is good. So whether we have to pull the engine out from the top traditionally, or drop it via K-member, obviously I'd rather just drop the whole K-member, and then that way this whole shell will be extremely light. We can put it on a skid and then go get it blasted and see how bad things are. But you know, this cheap body work, I just don't understand. I don't understand why somebody would go through so much work to weld on Ford OEM quarter panels and they end up rotting out this bad for the second time. It just goes to show how bad the rust and the corrosion was originally for it to all come back that badly. So I don't know, gonna carry on here, gonna strip this stuff apart. I am a little nervous because I'm supposed to head up north tomorrow. Actually, I don't have a choice because I'm giving my dad a ride back up, and you can see all of these parts behind me. Obviously not those engines over there, but there is quite a bit of Foxbody parts all around my friend's shop, and I need to get this cleaned up before tomorrow morning for 9 o'clock because he has a customer coming in. So gonna do my best here, see what else we can rip apart and find. Little hidden treasures here, not really treasures, that was a joke. And we'll just get the rest of this disassembled and we'll see what the next course of action is going to be. frame rails, and we have green K-member. And this car was white, so it has been changed. Nothing in this car is original anyways.
Not that I've ever seen. Whoa, 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 whoa! Can you go back? There you go. Woo.
Alright guys, we're back in the shop and the car just got brought out back. We stuffed it with as much as the parts that we had to put as much weight in the back of the car, so obviously that the forklift could pick it up. And as optimistic as I was, once that engine came out, which is sitting right over here, and this engine works great, I love it. However, once it came out, I noticed that the K-member was actually out of a green car. So not only have the rear quarter panels been replaced, the passenger side fender's been replaced, the body kit has been replaced, the rear quarter panels have been replaced. There's not much left original on that car other than the fact that it was the original DECH number 5 build. So looking at the K-member, looking at the frame rails, looking at the rear frame components and all of these different things, I really don't know if it's worth trying to save that specific shell. What I'm thinking is it might be best to take as many of the best parts that were on that car, which we can save all the suspension, we can save the body kit and the wing, and we can save the engine. And again, all those suspension components that were original, so that's the springs, that's the conies, that's the G-load brace, it's the grabbers. We also have the Recaros still, and we have the steering wheel. We have a lot of parts that we can put together and collectively restore this number 5 car. Dale, is the car worth saving?
Yes, it's worth saving.
So we'll see what we're going to do with it. We'll go from there, but for now it's out of the shop. Dale's probably happy. Now I got to clean up this big mess that I made because I'm sure he's not very happy about that.
This is part of it working.